Well, we go back to Washington and remember the big meeting tomorrow. President Zelenskyy due at the White House to sign this deal giving the U.S. access to Ukraine's minerals in exchange for continued support. The president tying it to the peace talks. The mineral deal, though, really seems to be in many ways about China. China dominates the entire global supply chain of rare earth minerals. We get 70% of our rare earth imports from China, but the minerals in Ukraine may not be a quick fix. Because, it takes a while. It takes years to get them out of the ground, 40% currently in Russian-occupied territory. So there's a lot of this that may not be very easy. Andrij Dobriansky is a director of communications, Ukrainian Congress Committee of America, and joins us now. Welcome. It's, what would you say big picture about this deal? Because it's been played up as, it's going to be a win-win for both. As I say, there's a China component to it. What would you tell people is about this deal? More than it's cracked up to be, or a good thing?
We're still a ways away. We need the final signature for this agreement to have an agreement, and understand that there's going to have to be more negotiations, because if it's finally ratified, that needs to go through Ukraine's parliament. So there's stuff that still needs to be worked out. But why is it a win-win? Honestly, between you and me and any other American, is America going to acquire more territory over the next 4 years of this administration? I think Greenland and Panama Canal, that's probably a high wish list. But let's say if you're an American president and you establish a security for these rare minerals for the next 50 years of American dominance in electronics and aviation, et cetera, that's a home run for the legacy of Donald Trump.
Well, especially if you make us less reliant on China, right? I guess is part of the counter, too. So there is some, you think there's something to that. That's legit, that part of it.
100%, and that's exactly why Ukraine was pushing it from their side. Now, obviously, there needed to be some hard-nosed negotiation, and what Ukraine is demonstrating is they can flatter Donald Trump publicly, but have hard-nosed negotiations in the background. Russia has a completely opposite policy, and even after today's interaction with Keir Starmer, President Trump once again brought up peacekeepers. He brought up the fact that he'd be interested in helping Ukraine regain territory, and what does Russia do? They flatter in private to him, but they publicly rebuke him. And so in the end, this is going to be a war of what strategy is better. Is it best to be flattering with him in private or flattering with him in public?
Okay, well, I think we probably know the answer to that. Now, what is the... what are we actually getting here in terms of, I get it, the strategic importance of it that you talked about, and, getting something essentially for the aid. That seems to be the idea. Politico had an article, however, that Donald Trump might have made a bad mineral deal with Ukraine, saying that they report more than 20,000 surveyed mineral deposits and sites, but only around 8,000 of them have been assessed as viable. Of these, it's reported that fewer than half were being exploited before Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine 3 years ago. What would you say about that?
The United States has known about Ukraine's mineralogical deposits since the mid-2000s. That's when the U.S. Geological Survey, on behalf of the United States and on behalf of the Ukrainian government, went ahead and identified areas of Ukraine. This is where Ukraine discovered how much shale gas they had, how many resources that they previously had not been exploiting. Now, the one thing about these deposits are, these are in areas, like you mentioned, many of which are in occupied territories, many in areas that have been completely leveled. If you're talking about rare earth mineral mining, that's not something you want to do in population centers. But let's say an enemy has gone ahead and eliminated whole population centers, and you have this ground that needs to be redeveloped. If outside money finally comes in, and that was the problem when you mentioned that it hadn't been done before, outside money needs to come in. You're talking about an enormous amount of minerals that can come out quicker than if you do it through an environmental review process.
But my basic read on it would be like, there's not nothing, but when we hear numbers about this, you probably have to lower the number, whatever they say it is, a little bit. And time frame, if they say, well, it's going to be fast, you have to say, well, this could take a while. Is that fair? Or, in terms of what our expectations should be for whatever we hear tomorrow?
I think given the fact that it's not in a population center and you're ready to start doing aggressive mining ASAP, that cuts down on time.
Okay.
The other issue is that anywhere you do this is going to take a while. I think, though, Ukraine has an advantage in the fact that a lot of the area has been cleared already. So long as it's a safe area, it's been demined from the other kind of mines, and we can get in there and develop that infrastructure to get it out. It's American know-how that can get it out quicker than anybody else.
Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.